All right, guys, let's check out Harry's silliness here with Anderson Cooper. First of all, just look at the picture of him. Literally, he's like a pouting crybaby. Literally, right? That is like pouting crybaby face, right? You see that? Like, meh. All right, let's check it out.
Backup role in the line of succession. The book and his meeting you had with him in
Crybaby
2021. You
face.
said, I looked at Willie, really looked at him, maybe for the first time since we were boys. I took it all in. His familiar scowl, which had always been his default in dealings with me, his alarming baldness, more advanced than my
Jerk.
own, his famous resemblance to Mummy, which was fading with time, with age. It's
What
pretty
a jerk piece of garbage. Like, I feel bad for him at times. You know what's crazy? It's the first thing I'd ever watched, like a couple years ago with Harry. One of the first things. Look at that little smirk. He's like satisfied. What a jerk. And you know what? That makes me not feel bad to say anything we want to say. You might even notice he crossed lines that I don't. Like, I don't talk about things they can't control. Like, I'll talk about dopey expressions, but I've not talked about, their appearances, actually. Just, what a jerk. What a jerk to say that about your brother, and that has nothing to do with behavior. It's just a way to, like, criticize his brother. And I will say this, though. Harry's balding now. And I think William looks much better. Like, he just carries it well. Harry just looks awful. So, I will say that because he's saying that about his brother. So, karma.
I don't see it as cutting a
Jerk.
My brother and I love each other.
You
I love
liar.
him deeply. There has been a lot of pain between the two of us, especially the last 6 years. None of anything that I've written and anything I've included is ever intended to hurt my family. But
He's a complete liar. Liar, 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 liar. And that's the most annoying thing about these two liars. Like this one, I really want to go at him because he's such a scumbag. Is they want both. Like, I want peace and I never want to hurt anybody. And, it's not me. And, if they're mad, I don't know why. You attack them as viciously as possible, you lying scumbag. Scumbag. This is a scumbag move, right? You're not even criticizing his behavior. It's just like, oh, he's balding and he's old. And no, I didn't criticize him. I'd never attack him. You're a jerk. You're a scumbag. And who was involved in the publishing of this book? Like, who actually publishes something like that? It's so churlish. What a scumbag that he can look people in the eye and say stuff like this. Oh, I don't view it as cutting.
give a full picture of the situation as we were growing
Liar.
up. And also squashes this idea that somehow my wife was the one that destroyed the relationship between these two brothers.
I think so many people around the world watched you and your brother grow up and feel like you two were inseparable. And yet in reading the book, you have lived separate lives from the time your mom died.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you were in the same school, in high school.
Did you notice how quickly he changes? He looks like he's about to cry. He's got that pouty face again. So this is like the worst person in the world. Like, I'm not literally, but it's the worst combination. It's like very quick to be angry and critical of other people and insensitive to them, but very sensitive to oneself. That is such an irritating mixture that's very common now, with like buzzword bandits and things, is extreme sensitivity to oneself and extreme lack of sensitivity to others. It's one thing if someone's insensitive, like they're just brash and uncouth, but they're also not sensitive. Maybe they're just in from a rough place or whatever. But to be a cry bully is the worst.
Sibling rivalry.
Your brother told you, pretend we don't know each other.
Yeah, and at the time it hurt.
Like, yeah.
I couldn't make sense of it. I was like, what do you mean? We're now at the same school. Like, I haven't seen you for ages. Now we get to hang out together? He's like, no. When we're at school, we don't know each other. And I took that personally.
And I took that personally. I don't believe a word he says. We can't believe a word he says there. Because here's a way to look at it, right? We cannot confirm that everything that him and Megan say is a lie, but 90% of things that can be confirmed are a lie, right? So let's say they say 100 things, 10 of them there's film of the event, and what they said is not true. The other 90 there's not film, but let's assume that it's not true, right? We can't confirm all of it, but whenever we can confirm it, it's a lie. So we can't believe a word he says. He might believe some of it, but a great one is their talk when they're in the military, and William's like teasing him but also lifting him up, and Harry had started the teasing as well, and then Harry like, he attacked me. Just a liar.
But yes, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Like, we had a very similar traumatic experience, and then we dealt with it two very different ways.
William tried to talk to you occasionally about your mom, but as a child, you couldn't respond.
For me, it was never a case of, I don't want to talk about it with you, I just don't know how to talk about it. I never ever thought that maybe talking about it with my brother or with anybody else at that point would be therapeutic.
Okay, fine. You know, that one, he's saying his opinion on that. That's like a reasonable thing, I suppose.
August 1997, Harry and William were vacationing in Scotland with their father. Harry was 12, William 15. They were asleep.
What's next? Harry in the military.
I was able to focus on a purpose larger than myself, to be wearing the same uniform as everybody else, to feel normal for the first time in my life, and accomplish some of the biggest challenges that I ever had. I was training to become an Apache helicopter pilot. You don't get a pass for being a prince.
The Apache doesn't give a about who you are.
No, there's no Prince autopilot button that you can press and just...
I don't believe him. I think they would have not for a second got him into the helicopter program if he were not a prince, and not for a second would they have considered not dropping him from the program were he not a prince. So, you know, he picks and chooses. You know, everything bad that happened was not his fault, and he's a victim. Everything good that happened from being a prince was because of him and how great he is. He's a narcissist.
Takes you away. I was a really good candidate for the military. I was a young man in my 20s, suffering from shock, but I was now in the front seat of an Apache, shooting it, flying it, monitoring 4 radios simultaneously, and being there to save and help anybody that was on the ground with it.
So he's been confirmed to lie about some of this. Wasn't there like something specifically confirmed as a lie where he said like the instructor like took the controls and like moved it, so he was scared and like he over dramatized it? It was just a total lie. From what I understand as well, wasn't he like a gunner only? So, you know, again, Harry lies a lot. Lies a lot, lies a lot, lies a lot. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon. What do you want to see next?